A special welcome to our India's Union Minister for Science and Technology, Earth Sciences, Environment, Forests and Climate Change, Dr. Vardhan. And we are also proud to welcome our foreign delegates, the Honorable Nkandu, Minister of Higher Education, Government of the Republic of Zambia, and Honorable Engineer Getahun, Mekuria, Minister of Science and Minister of Innovation and Technology, Government of the Republic of Ethiopia, and Mrs. Kampeta Sayinzoga, who is the Director General of the National Industrial Research and Development Agency, Rwanda. This is an important session, ladies and gentlemen, because we are going to talk about the success of the India-Africa Science and Technology Research and Development Collaboration, and we will also round it up with the success of the very first program that India has undertaken in Africa, which is the India-Rwanda Innovation Growth Program. And we are delighted here that the ministers could join us for the launch of the India-Ethiopia Innovation Technology Transfer and Commercialization Program. So this is a very big occasion. And of course, I would be amiss if I didn't mention that we've got a splendid welcome, and we are in the heart of what is probably India's one of the most dynamic states of Telangana, which excels in science, technology, and innovation. May I now request the dignitaries to please come up on the dais so that we may begin this session. Dr. Vardhan, Minister for Science and Technology, Earth Sciences, Environment, Forests and Climate Change. Honorable Nkandu, Minister of Higher Education, Government of the Republic of Rwanda. Honorable Engineer Getahun Mekuria, Minister of Science and Technology, Government of the Republic of Ethiopia. Mrs. Kampeta Sayinzoga, Director General, National Industrial Research and Development Agency, Rwanda. Mr. T. Murlidharan, Chairman of FICCI, Telangana State Council and Chairman, TMI Group. Dr. Ajit, Rangnekar, DG, Research and Innovation Circle, Hyderabad, Government of the State of Telangana. And Mr. Nirankar, Saxena, the Deputy Secretary General of FICCI. Sir, मैं मंगवा लूँगा, don't worry. एक chair है. Don't worry. So without further ado, and thank you all for attending, and I'm so glad that you have made time to please come here and attend in large numbers. We will also like to thank the exhibitors particularly who have made this conference cum exhibition a grand success. May I start the ceremony today by requesting Mr. T. Murlidharan, Chairman, FICCI, Telangana State Council and Chairman, TMI Group, to offer the welcome remarks.
Good morning. It's a beautiful city, Hyderabad city. Many of you from outstation, it's a very special warm welcome to the city of Hyderabad. Dignitaries, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, very, very special welcome to our Union Minister, Shri Vardhan, Dr. Vardhan, Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and Earth Sciences. We know he's very busy to find time to come to Hyderabad from Delhi. Definitely speaks of his commitment, interest, not only in the area of R&D, science and technology, but also between India and Africa. As Munish said, India-Africa collaboration is a classic example of mutual cooperation and mutual benefit between India and Africa. I also especially welcome the Honorable Minister for Higher Education from Zambia, Minister of Innovation and Technology from Ethiopia, DG, NIRDA, Rwanda, and all delegates from African countries. Rwanda especially because I had the honor of visiting Rwanda when the Vice President of India visited Rwanda as a FICCI delegation. And I can say with a lot of conviction, Rwanda and India have started a very, very strong cooperation and collaboration in the last 2 years. And we've already seen the benefits of the same. The Global R&D Summit is an annual flagship event of R&D focused on emerging areas of technology and business development around the world inviting collaboration. The focus is on collaboration from various stakeholders. FICCI is the lead organizer and host for this event, bringing together renowned experts in the respective fields to address the vital issue of research and, most importantly, commercialization. Cutting across disciplines, research has become increasingly important today, given that innovation and R&D are the key drivers of economic growth. FICCI has been successfully running multiple programs in Africa for promoting and advancing cooperation in science and technology in partnership with Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Very, very, very special thanks to Department of Science and Technology, who have been our partners in FICCI for several years now. Through various blue chip and bilateral programs, good working relationship has been established with over 45 African countries. I'm very pleased and happy to see important initiatives of FICCI and these bodies which will augur well for the future of science and technology. The theme of this year's conference, International Collaboration in Research and Development for Sustained Growth. With many research activities now taking on a global dimension, it's imperative to discuss positive approaches towards inculcating best R&D practices. We have with us today and yesterday thought leaders, policymakers, corporates, academics, and researchers who have been sharing their ideas and views on various R&D projects. Lastly, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all the dignitaries to Hyderabad and thank the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. FICCI, I'm very proud that FICCI has been consistently demonstrating a high quality of participation of speakers.
May I now please request Dr. Ajit Rangnekar, DG Research and Innovation Circle, Hyderabad, Government of the State of Telangana Initiative, and they have been a very strong partner for this summit. Thank you.
Thank you, Munish, and good morning. And let me add my welcome to all of you as a partner with FICCI in the India-Rwanda program. Just stepping back a little, see what we did and why we think this is also a possible model for us to use elsewhere. All over the world, food and health are two big challenges facing all of us. Here in Telangana, we as the government decided to take a two-pronged approach to tackling this. The first was to speed up the research from research institutions and bring it quickly to market. And the second was to invest heavily and strategically into all the latest technologies so that we stay abreast. So to do the first, the Telangana government created the Research and Innovation Circle of Hyderabad. Hyderabad itself is home to over 44 research institutions, over 20 academic institutions, is the center, is perhaps has the largest number of incubators anywhere in the country, is the home to 1/3 of companies in seed and agriculture, is home to 1/3 of the pharmaceutical industry. In order to speed up bringing that research to market, we need to bring all of those people together. So in the last 2 years that we've been formed, we've been able to bring over 500 institutions and people together and help over 60 startups to fasten or speeden up the space at which they go to market. So today, if you are a researcher and if you have a great idea, the RICH platform will tell you where the equipment that you want to work with are available, where the experts whom you want to consult are available, whether the IP is free for you to exploit or not. Whether there is money, and by the way, Honorable Minister, I must state that both the Department of Science and Technology and the DBT have done an incredible job in supporting startups in the life sciences space. And I think that is something that we must thank the government for, because that has given a big boost to incubators and to startups in the state. The idea is to establish this concept and take it further. So we have already started collaborations with Rwanda. We are very keen to do it with all other African nations. We have technical collaborations with Israel, with Australia, and with the UK to bring in better technology. But this is not enough. What the Telangana state is also doing is to invest into strategic ideas which will give us a leap forward into the future. So the first would be to establish a very high-tech research institution for personalized medicine, especially genomics. For that, we will need to have a biobank of data. And already for those of you who have visited the stalls, there is Sapiens, a startup started here in Hyderabad, which is already collecting samples from a large number of hospitals and has created a proven model of biobanking. We are ready to take it across the country. We are ready to take it to Africa and to other countries. Tomorrow, if you do not have your own biobank of samples, you will be left behind in the personalized medicine field. And that's again an area where we will be happy to work. We are also creating an institution in robotics and smart manufacturing. In biotech, as companies want to start up, they need facilities like a flexi factory. So the state is looking to invest in a flexi factory, which will allow startups to take their product and scale it up. And finally, we are setting up an agriculture experiential learning park, where small and marginal farmers will get to see what the technology is, will get to understand how it works, will actually try it out themselves so that they have the confidence of using it when it comes. All of these, we are happy to extend to Africa and to every other country which wants to work with us. We look forward to further strengthening our collaboration with you. Thank you.
That has been a great pathway that FICCI, Center for Innovation, Science and Technology, has enabled with RICH of Hyderabad. So please do utilize that. May I now take the pleasure of inviting Mrs. Kampeta Sayinzoga, Director General of the National Industrial Research and Development Agency of Rwanda, who's also representing her Honorable Minister for Education, who couldn't make it. May I please request you to offer here. Rwanda is the first country that we began working with under the collaborations, and I'm sure that there is many of you here who have started to work in Rwanda.
Thank you very much, Munish. Honorable Ministers of the Government of India and the Government of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia and Zambia, the leadership of the state, which is hosting us very graciously today here for this R&D summit, the leadership of FICCI. Yesterday, the Minister of Zambia said, all protocol observed. I think I'll steal her phrase to get to my points. Let me start by thanking the Government of India once again for inviting us to this R&D summit. We've heard a lot about Rwanda since yesterday. Rwanda has done this, Rwanda has done that. And I would say, Honorable Minister, it's probably because of two main reasons. One, as a country, we've positioned ourselves to embrace and integrate science and technology and innovation in everything that we do. But two, more importantly, I think the special relationship between the Government of India and the Government of Rwanda has enabled this partnership to actually translate into that. Yesterday, the Minister of Ethiopia asked, what is it that Rwanda has done? And since we are now in a session that looks at lessons learned, I thought I would share a little bit before sharing more about the India-Rwanda Innovation Growth Program. So first of all, there's been a major shift to product development, moving away from innovation as a function of just tertiary educations to now having innovation as a function of business, trade, and industry. That was a major shift. It took us a while, but we finally made the step. It required us to change policy. It required us to change the regulatory framework. I saw outside there's a company that does aeronautical. One of the key things we realized is if we want to invest in drone technology, the first thing we had to do is change the regulatory system. You cannot have a drone technology if they can't fly, if the Civil Aviation Authority do not allow them to fly. So some of the changes that have come from the industry that was pushing for innovation, but that pushed very hard our regulatory agencies to have more flexible and more business-friendly regulatory environment. The third one, which is still a challenge, and I was delighted to hear the state leadership to talk about it, is the issue of physical space to allow young people to innovate. And that's something that we want to partner with the government of India very closely to be able to create these physical spaces, Honorable Minister, where the innovators can actually have access to cutting-edge technology. If we want our communities and our innovators to benefit from the fourth industrial revolution, they cannot do it just in their mind. They need to have a physical space with state-of-the-art equipment that they can do it in. And in many of our countries, unfortunately, these incubators or these incubation spaces are very poor quality. So one of the imperatives is to make sure that we actually invest heavily in giving them access to be able to develop these ideas that they have into functional and competitive products. The last one, which is probably the most important one, and the reason why we have a delegation here today, is even if you change the policy, even if you change the regulatory framework, even if you give them access to physical space, if they don't have access to global knowledge, nothing will happen. So it is time for all African countries and all our partners countries to join forces in easing access to global knowledge, cutting edge, both for academia, which sometimes do not give students access to the best knowledge, and the private sector. Now the two don't have to be separate. We're now looking at the Indian model where the two intersect. Yesterday I met a lot of officials from higher education institutions, and they all had incubation space. They all had partnership with the industry. And that is something that the African countries need to emulate. Honorable Minister, let me quickly turn to the India-Rwanda Innovation Growth Program, because I think it's one of the reasons why we are delighted to have you on the panel today. Rwanda was the first country to adopt this innovative growth program. Yesterday I mentioned that the innovation part is not only because we're promoting innovation, but also the way this program is delivered. Having FICCI partnering with businesses in our home countries has been extremely productive, and we really appreciate this innovative way of the government of India facilitating B2B but promoting innovation. It is also the first time that we see a global partnership that actually looks at innovation not as a theoretical concept, but as a business, a sustainable business for developing countries. This is truly innovative, and we thank FICCI for having been able to implement this program very successfully. So year one, we partnered 14 Rwandan companies to 11 Indian technologies, and we're already seeing that not only is it creating access to better technology for Rwandan businessmen, but it's also creating very strong ties between the two countries. One of the lessons that we've learned is that as we do B2B partnership via this program, we need to expand it a little bit to allow innovation hubs or innovation, I would say custodians of innovation in India, to also partner with custodians of innovation in Rwanda. And this is why during this visit, I'm very pleased to announce that we're expanding the partnership that we've had with your Leather Institute, CLRI, to the entire CSIR, to allow us to be able to have this partnership solidified. This will not only help the businesses in Rwanda have access to the latest technology, but it will allow us, government institutions, to listen more to the businesses and understand what you have done right to be able to have government-funded institution actually listen to the industry and work for the industry. This is something that is often missing, but we are very, very confident that this change in terms of the partnership is going to play a big role. So we're ready for year two, sir. We're excited about the year two of the program. We want to partner more technologies. This time we looked at what are the priority areas in Rwanda to make sure that we match them with the relevant technologies in India and make sure that we make good use of the resources that your government has very graciously availed. This expansion, we believe, is just another step. We look forward to many other steps. And I'm delighted to invite fellow African governments. I think today we have the government of Ethiopia very highly represented, and the government of Zambia also very highly represented. And we'd like to share with you our experience and tell you that this has been a success. This is a good opportunity to thank the Department of Science and Technology that has looked at international relations with a very pragmatic eye and a very innovative eye. You lead a fantastic institution, sir. We've met many of your senior officials, and all the advice that they've been providing to us will be implemented in the fastest way possible. I would be amiss if I concluded without thanking Mr. Munish Gupta, which has been your ears and our voice in this partnership. I can't count the number of trips that Munish has made to Rwanda on behalf of FICCI to make this program a success. And once again, this speaks volumes about the very pragmatic approach of your government. So, Mr. Gupta, thank you so much for all your work, all your hard work. And it's not always easy to be able to gain the trust of two governments at the same time. But I think Munish has done a fantastic job at that. So let me conclude by thanking everyone here for having listened to us, for partnering with us, for coming, offering new partnerships and new friendships. And I can guarantee you that the government of Rwanda is ready to take yet another step to promote science and technology. Your Excellency, the Minister, we are delighted by your presence, which once again reinforces the importance that the government of India has extended to African countries. I thank you.
We wanted to use this occasion, for the presence of our Honorable Minister and yours, Madam, to quickly release the first-year success report on the India-Rwanda Innovation Growth Program. Please bring it up. May I request Nirankar ji and DG ma'am to please release it with the Minister. This marks the conclusion of the first year and the start of the second-year program. And it lists all the technologies and innovations from India that have been matched with Rwanda. Thank you very much. And DG talked about the expanding relationship under the program with CSIR. I'm very happy to announce that the next institute that FICCI is signing up with to enter Rwanda is the Indian Institute of Chemical Technology, ISCT, represented here by the Director, Dr. Chandrasekhar and Dr. Shelja. Thank you very much. Moving on with the program, may I now request the Honorable Nkandu, the Minister of Higher Education, Government of the Republic of Zambia, for her special address. And mind you, she speaks extremely well. I sometimes get goosebumps listening to her.
Thank you very much, Munish. I'm sitting in between, having just listened to the success stories of Rwanda, but also looking forward to the launch of the partnership between Ethiopia and India. Honorable Minister of Science and Technology of the Government of India, the Honorable Minister for Innovation and Technology of the Government of Ethiopia, the representative of the Government of Rwanda, our CEO for the Center for Innovation, all the leadership of FICCI, and let me just simply ride on all the protocols that we did yesterday and all protocols observed. I'm standing here with a lot of envy, sitting in between the two governments. It's one that has talked about their success and another one that is about to launch this partnership. And Minister, I'm looking forward to, before the end of this year, signing a partnership with the government of India. I know the bureaucracies, but I'm looking forward to us cutting the bureaucracies and signing this partnership. For the simple reason that governments that have succeeded are those that have taken a bold step, first of all, to invest in their people's human capital development through education. Secondly, by taking on cutting-edge technology. And most importantly, not doing research for publication only, but taking research further to commercialization. And this is the lesson that we've learned since our arrival in India. The second reason is that your cultures and our cultures as Africans are very close. So when I look at some of the activities in the displays, they are very close to us. And therefore, you are an immediate partner anybody would think of because of our similarities. Thirdly, we've all been labeled as developing countries, yet very rich countries, both in terms of human capital as well as in terms of just the natural resources that have been made available to us as countries. So I believe that my stay and my coming to India has been worthwhile. And we go back to Zambia energized and ready to sign this partnership because I know that we will develop as a country based on the path that India has taken. So we were very, very privileged, Minister, as a country to have been here. I know that I was invited at one time to come for this particular summit, but time couldn't allow. But I'm so pleased that this time I took on your invitation. And let me take this opportunity to thank Vicky for having made it possible for me and my delegation to come on this learning journey. It's been an important learning journey, but I don't want it to just be a learning journey, but I would like to see fruits born out of my visit to India. So like I said yesterday, I'm giving an open invitation first and foremost to the government of the Republic of India, secondly to all the innovators that are in this room and all the industries that have participated in this particular initiative in India. In my country, despite the resources that we have, and we are one of the richest countries of Africa, bordered by 9 countries, where we can actually draw the economy of Zambia into the 9 countries around us, and draw the economy of these 9 countries into our country, a country with abundant resources from minerals to land, to trees and water and everything you can think of, because of the systems that we've been exposed to, we have not been able to develop to the level that we'd like to develop. And therefore, this learning journey from yesterday has given me a resolve to move Zambia forward. And as I return to Zambia, and as I brief His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, I will really tell him that our visit to India is one of the most success stories that I've ever experienced. And really, Minister, we look forward to partnering with India, and we look forward also to learn lessons from our colleagues in Rwanda that have started the journey, and also the lessons that Ethiopia will be going through as we sign our own memorandum. I'd like to conclude by thanking the organizers of this particular summit for making it possible for Zambia to be here. And I look forward to a partnership that will bring me back to India to learn more lessons. Thank you.